Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So we are recording this. So Adele, she's going to take you on a journey of setting boundaries, how to say no, when to say yes. But before that, Adele is going to introduce herself and she's going to tell you guys a little bit about herself, how phenomenal she is, because she's a wonderful, wonderful coach, which I had a chance to experience. So Adele?
Hey everybody, Adele here, and I'm so excited to spend time with you on, I think, one of the most important topics to have a groovy life. For those of you who don't know me, I am a mentor, podcaster, author in the area, and I specialize with helping people groove out to their purpose. You know, why are you here on the planet Earth? What is your natural special sauce? So that you can express in your livelihood, whatever it is you're doing, your relationships. Because when people are really focused on their purpose, everything else sort of falls in line. And I do this working with people on Zoom, around planet Earth. And everything that I'm going to share with you today is what I learned through the School of Hard Knocks, because I'm mostly interested in what I call the trials and tribulations of being human, the sticky points of living. And although we can be brilliant folks, my understanding is that you guys are doing phenomenal things in computer science. Dealing with humans is not logical. It can be very frustrating. And to have a life that matters ultimately is where the rubber really meets the road in terms of, you know, we can be brilliant at our, you know, our technical knowledge, but oh my gosh, how do we have the better relationships, maybe attract the kind of bosses you want, you know, dating, all these things. And fundamentally through all this, boundaries is a huge issue that I think it's great that we spend time on. We're gonna have time for Q&A, but what I'm gonna do is share I'm gonna just dump a bunch of stuff for you to think about. So you can get out of your technical head and more into the essence of who you are. When this is grooving, everything else will be much easier, better, and clearer. So I was not born knowing any of this. I was a anxious and stressed mess for many, many years. I did not know how to be with people. I was nervous all the time because I was raised to be more of an achiever than understanding how to, first of all, I had no idea of boundaries. So what you're gonna get today, in the limited time we have, I'm going to try to pour as much as I can. And if you want to know more, yeah, you know, I'll put some info in the chat. I'm going to give you 4 things today, 4 points about what boundaries are, and then 3, shall we say, takeaways, 3 phrases that I want you to just practice over and over in your spare time. Just have them in your back pocket so that the next time you're put on the spot and someone wants you to say yes, and you'd like to say no, and you feel a little flooded, a little bit, oh my God, you know, I don't want to hurt their feelings. I feel guilty, blah, 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 blah. You can just whip one of these puppies out and it will help just buy a little bit extra time, because that often is just what you need to keep from saying yes when you mean no. You know, because for a lot of people, we're so conditioned to say yes to everyone that your mouth starts saying yes before you've had time to really feel, do I really want to do this? Can you relate? So I hope so. If this is intriguing to you, you're in the right place. So I just want to start with, why do we have to have boundaries? You know, this whole thing used to irritate me. What's the point? Like, I thought it was a negative thing. I thought it was kind of embarrassing. I wanted to be accommodating. Maybe you can relate. I want people to like me. And I thought, well, boundaries gets in the way of people liking me. And let me tell you, I was very lonely. I didn't know how to go for what I wanted. Just anything that shows up, okay. My plate was completely full with crap I didn't like to do, activities that didn't feed me, because I didn't know that you could actually make a choice of how you spend your time, what kinds of relationships you want. So my hope is, from the School of Hard Knocks, I work with people around the world, professionals at least 20, 30 years older than you. And I'm delighted to be sharing with you today so that you start building these skills today, now, that because without this skill, it can wreak havoc on your life day in, day out, 10, 20 years later. And people end up feeling very frustrated. It often wrecks their health, overwork, unsatisfying relationships, doing a career they don't like because it just sort of happened. And, the boss is asking more from me than I'm comfortable with, but I don't know how to negotiate. I don't know how to negotiate pay. This is an important skill. So I'm delighted that Justina invited me to just say, let's start now so that you got more time to really amp it up. So what is a boundary? So I want you to just write this down. I can't see everybody right now, but when we have open Q&A, we're going to have panelists, and then I'm going to invite you to the stage to ask questions. You can ask specifics about your situation. I may be able to suggest something. Who knows? We'll have fun. So there are 4 points about a boundary that I think a lot of people just never thought about or didn't understand. Why? Because our culture never brought it up. The number one thing, why do we have a boundary? What is a boundary? A boundary is about keeping you safe more than changing other people. So write that down. I didn't do a deck today, so just write this down. A boundary is about keeping you safe, not changing other people. I'm going to come back to that because I think this is one big issue of contention that happens in a lot of dating, in a lot of marriages, relationships with the boss. Okay. Second thing is, it has you asking what you need to be a happy, groovy humanoid. If you don't know, don't expect other people to read your mind and just sort of guess and serve it up for you. So this is part of you as you mature, as you take ownership of your life. It's a constant inquiry. What do you want? What do you need? Because people who don't have boundaries often feel very resentful that other people haven't quite figured it out for them. And resentment's not fun. So the second purpose of a boundary is for you to know more about you, really, because no one else can do that better than you. The third thing about a boundary is it's kind of in line with this, that boundaries are the only way that you get a sense of who you are. That there has to be a sense of the me and the not me. And if there's not a boundary there, well, I have no idea. We're all one big blob, and what's good for you is good for me. And it can be very confusing. This is especially the case if you're highly empathic, very sensitive, or if you've had trauma can do this to people, that the natural boundary instinct that animals have has been blown out of people due to cultural conditioning, traumas that happened early on. Don't worry. This is what I specialize in. Just because of stuff happening earlier on doesn't mean that you can't groove it out now. So this is not something that, I'm missing a gene on how to do this. You've just never been shown. But the more you know your boundary, the better you have a sense of who you are. Let's see. This also helps other people know who you are. If everything is yes, people feel a certain vagueness in you, like, well, she's nice, but I don't know, so this has you taking a stand for what you believe in, your opinions on things, your preferences, all these things that help other people get to know you. Really important. If you're going to have better friendships, not just any friends, but more fulfilling friends that go, oh, I get what Adele is about. And the fourth thing is, some of you may be familiar with an old teaching that good fences, it's from farmers, ranchers, good fences make good neighbors. Think of boundaries as that in your emotional sense. Good fences make good neighbors. That when it's clear, you can relax. If you never have an idea of what you think your boundary is, everything is case by case. Well, it can feel very stressful. You with me? So 4 points. So I'm going to circle around real quick in the time, and Justina, you can help me watch I've got so much to say, but I do want to just elaborate a little bit on these things so that we have time to do maybe some practices, some exercises, and I can get to the 3 STEM points. Okay, so a boundary is about keeping you safe, not changing other people. This is probably the #1 misconception that people have. So what happens is something's happening, you and your girlfriend or boyfriend, or something's off, right? And you need to say, oh, I need to set my boundary. And you might say something like, I need you to call me more, or let's say classic example. I need you to let me know, are we going out this weekend or not? I feel like you don't let me know. And I'm always sort of, a little lost, where are we on this? I really need to know more. We need better communication. I need to hear from you where we really stand. So sometimes people think that's a boundary. Can you feel in that? First of all, there's a lot of emotion, which is fine, but it's very vague. And this is the #1 thing people confuse. The emotion itself is not a boundary. And in fact, if it's emotional without clarity, the other there can be a feeling of, okay, like, oh, she's upset or he's upset, but they don't know what to do. So a boundary is something within your control, not trying to change the other person. Can you feel if I say something to you is, we need to communicate better on what our plans are for the weekend. I need to hear from you what we're doing, because I don't know where we are. Can you feel that in some ways it's a little bit like trying to change the other person a little bit? Can you feel that I'm asking the other person something, which at first sounds pretty groovy, right? But a real boundary sounds something more like this. Joe or Mary, how about this? Can we agree that if we're going to do something on the weekend, can you let me know by Thursday, 5 o'clock, if we're going to do something? And that way I could, set my schedule. If I don't hear from you by Thursday at 5 o'clock, I'll assume that you've got something else going on and I'll make plans. That's a boundary. It's something within your control. You're not trying to change the other person. So this is really key. If you don't know, if it's just emotion, the other person can often feel bad, but they don't really know how to dance with you. A classic, simple example. If you've got a friend, this happened to me in school. I had a good friend who I adored, who every time we made plans to meet somewhere, she was always 30, 40 minutes late, right? And I would say things like, gosh, it would really be nice if you're on time, because, I've got studying. I mean, I was always feeling a little bit irritated, not just once or twice, but this kept happening. And I started feeling like, well, gosh, if this doesn't turn around, I might have to just, cut the friendship. And I didn't want to do that. I wanted to see what was possible before just blowing someone off. So notice that a lot of times when people get blown off or ghosted or whatever it is, it's because people don't know how to communicate in a way that protects you and is clear. So I would say to Heidi, you know what? I'm so excited we're meeting up for the movie, and I'll wait for you by the front door for 10 minutes. And if I don't see you by 1:10, I'll go on in ahead. Right? So so the other person knows you're not trying to change her to be more whatever. Okay. So that's the difference. A boundary is something within your control, not changing the other person's behavior. You can ask, and if they don't meet your boundary, well, you have some data about the nature of this relationship. Not everything needs to be, go for broke, but there has to be an agreement of how you negotiate with people. Otherwise, this is where resentment sets in. I'm just going along with things again and again and again. And one day I blow up and the person is just really surprised. Well, we need to communicate better. But what does that mean? So Take ownership for your side of the fence. Good fences make good neighbors. If someone knows, oh, that's how Adele likes to be, she'll wait for 10 minutes. And if I'm not there, she's going to go on ahead. There's no mystery. Because farmers and ranchers learned a long time ago, if you don't have good fences and someone's cows invade your neighbor's property, they're not very happy. And the same thing is with you. If you don't have a good fence, someone else invades your time and they're wandering around, eating up the grass of your time. Good fences, good boundaries make good friendships, good partnerships, good neighbors. Let's see. Yeah, and so boundaries also, oh gosh, I'm running out of time. So, so the second and third point is you need to know. It's your job to know what you need to feel safe. It's not the other person's job to guess. And this is where a lot of people pleasers get a little squirrely. They don't want to say. They just want the other person to magically know so they don't have to actually say anything, right? And this is your personal growth, because as long as you're hoping other people can read your mind, it might be hit or miss. But you have to know what you need to be safe. And this also helps other people know you better. You know, if you're people pleasing, anything is fine with me, you just decide. It can sometimes can turn people off a little bit. What do you really want? Have you all been in a situation where, I don't know, what do you want? I don't know, what do you want? Well, you decide. I don't know. It's very vague, right? Because nobody has bothered to think, what do I want? And what would make me feel safe? So, and that gets more into negotiating. I won't get into that today, but I hope you can feel that a boundary is something that keeps you safe and it's in your control. So I'll wait 10 minutes. If I don't hear from you, I'm moving on. It might be like, we've decided to do X. If we don't hear by you by Thursday, we'll assume that you're groovy with it. That's what our homeowners association did. Or, in terms of dating, it can be okay to say, my boundary and my expectation that keeps my heart safe is, I need to know, well, within about, 6 months or a year, I get a sense whether this is, I need to know a meeting of the minds. Are we going to make it, advance to the next level of our relationship or not? That's not changing the other person. It's what I know to be safe so that I can own, oh, it's been about 6 months, this person, we still are not quite on the same page. It's time to move on without trying to bug other people for commitment. So you can see boundaries very useful in many ways. Sometimes you don't have to tell people what your boundary is, but you have to know. So if you're in a job and let's say you're not seeing the types of promotion or pay you would like, and you can say, my boundary inside is I'm going to give this job 6 more months or 8 months, 3 months, whatever it is, but you have to know what it is. You don't have to tell anybody, but you're going to say, if I don't get a stronger sense from my boss about the next opportunity, or whatever it is, I'll give myself 3 months, 6 months, whatever it is, and then I'm moving on. It's within your control. Because it's not asking your boss and saying, they'll say, well, we'll see how it goes. Depends. This happens a lot in corporate environments. When employees don't have a strong sense of boundary, don't expect the employer to just sort of tell you what it is. I mean, there can be negotiation, but if you're noticing, hey, I've been at this my boundary was a year and I keep getting put off. I'm not seeing a change in my boss's opportunity. I have an inner knowing to take care, for me to feel safe in this career. It's time to move on. So boundaries are in your control. It's not about manipulating other people. It's not even about bursting with emotion. And in relationship, people often think that they're so clear with their emotions. We need to communicate better. We need to be on the same page. And well, yeah, but if there's so much emotion without the clarity, it's not always actionable. So a boundary keeps you safe. So, all right, we're running out of time. So I'm going to give you 3 statements, I want you to start practicing. So the first thing is to invite a sense that a boundary isn't always what you say. It's not like you're going to sit down there and write it out. It's more an energy. So this is something you can practice. When people get stressed and they get flooded with requests, the tendency, I'm an energy person, you know, the tendency is that your energy kind of leaves the body. You know, I want this for you, and focus on feeling more of your back. Literally, someone's coming at you, asking you for something, and you don't want to do it. Let's just say, or maybe, you know, when someone asks you, classic example, one of your friends asks you, hey, Adele, can you help me move next weekend? Well, goodness. I mean, are we talking like all weekend, you know, 10 hours lifting boxes? I don't want to do that, but I would like to help in some way. It's not like, heck no. You can say, you know, it's because the request came in like this. Can you help me move? It's huge. And I'm looking inside. I can do this. So you can say, you know what? I'm free for 90 minutes on Saturday. From 4 to 5:30, I'll stop by your house and I'll move some boxes. Most people would be grateful for that, right? There's not this, oh, can't you stay for 6 hours? No, I'm offering 4 to 5:30 and I can feel my back. And there's an open heart. Can you feel that? That's very clear. I'm in my body instead of, you know, the energy being pulled out. So the number one thing about actually setting a boundary is relax and feel your energetic is a little bit more in the lower body, because under duress, we tend to go up. I'm an energy person. I don't have time to explain the details of that, but I hope you can see the difference between this and this. So it's not this, it's I'm safe, good fences make good neighbors. My fence is 90 minutes. Okay, so write this down. Someone's coming at you, you're flooded. Oh my God, I don't want to say no right now. Or maybe you can't. You're stumbling over the words. Number one, write this down. Let me get back to you on that. And when this webinar ends, repeat that 1 billion times. Get comfortable saying that. It's just enough to buy you some time so that you're not flooded. Because when you're flooded, and if you were raised to say yes to everything or people please, you're going to say yes before you can't stop it coming out of your mouth, right? Are you with me on this? Has anyone done that? Like, it's just an automatic yes. And then later you're like, why did you, right? You just need a little extra time. Let me think about that and get back to you. Let me get back to you on that. Oh, good. Oh, I'm glad people are, okay, I'm seeing the chat. Am I making sense? Can you all like type something in there? Is this useful? Oh, wonderful. Okay. Number two, let's say you've actually bought yourself some time and you really don't want to, right? You can feel it in your body of, the key is to learn to say no with an open heart. Saying no, what happens is people think saying no with it while you're just shutting your heart down, you're saying you don't care. No. So let's say somebody wants you to help you move or help them move. Adele, can you help me move this weekend? And I really don't want to. I've got 1 billion things to do. And they're like, come on, I would really appreciate if you help me move. This works good for siblings, parents, anyone who really wants you there. You can say, yeah, I know you want that, but no, I know, no. And then zip it. Try to reduce the need to explain yourself. it just creates this whole debate on why and are you sure and all this stuff. Because most people, they just want an answer, a yes or a no. And if you're a no, their mind has already moved on to other alternatives. Are you with me on this? It's like you're acknowledging, I know you want that. Or it's like talking to a kid who wants ice cream before dinner. I know it. No. So can you feel that I'm giving you acknowledgement? I know you want that. No. And then resist the urge to explain yourself. That's going to be hard for a lot of people. I got to wash my hair. Oh, I'm busy with this exam. Really, it's no one's business. Because sometimes people feel like, well, if I don't have an excuse, I should. That's not necessarily true. Again, keeping your time and energy safe. Let me see. Successfully and peacefully saying no creates harmony. Yes, Angel, absolutely. This is a skill. And remember, feel the back. Your people pleasing has a very forward pulling energy. This is what I work with all my clients. It does take some awareness. I don't have time today, but you're acknowledging, no, I know, but. And a third statement you could also say is, I'm sorry, that doesn't work for me. And again, saying no with an open heart. It's not, no, it's, I'm sorry, that doesn't work for me. Right? And for some people, this will feel very uncomfortable. I get it. But those are 3 words I want you to just start practicing. Start practicing to yourself, practice it with your cat, so that when you're in the moment, you can like, oh, Adele told me I need to just buy a little extra time. Let me think about that and get back to you. Or, I know, but no, it doesn't work for me. Because most of the time, they don't really care why. We think they want to know why, but not really. Okay, so Justina, how are we doing on time? I want to honor everybody's time. Am I okay on time?
We are good. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let me just read the
comments. Let's another few minutes, and then
okay.
I'm going to move to the interactive session.
Yes. Angel is saying, if I can't accommodate a request, I put alternatives instead of an explanation. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. That's still of service, right? Sometimes you can't spend 8 hours helping your best friend move, but you can do 90 minutes. Or it might be, I can't do this, but I can do that. And you get to package it how much you can do. Don't expect other people to know. Don't expect other people to know how you feel. It's not their responsibility. Again, boundaries are about keeping you safe, not changing the other person. Can't blame them for asking. Because sometimes people are pissed off that people are even asking. I'm like, of course they're going to ask. That's normal. What's possible here? Don't take it personally. Oh my God, she's asking again. Doesn't she know how exhausted I am? Well, it's not her job to know, right? So those are the 4 points, 3 things to consider. And the energetic part is something that takes practice. And because people will feel your energy more than what you're saying. You could actually say no in a different language, and people would still understand it. This is why some people, no matter how many times they say no, nobody hears them. They just get railroaded because the energetic isn't there. And an energetic is not this. It's a presence in the body. And I have a couple things, Justina, I'm just going to put them in the chat. The first one is just for ladies only. This presence is a quality that's very magnetic. It attracts attention. So when you say no, people say, oh, and not, are you sure? So it's called feminine presence. It's from your natural feminine sensuality. I'm going to put a link in here. I have an event coming up on Saturday. There's still a few spots left. It's a small group. It's called the Introduction to Spark Your Feminine Presence. Let me just put it in here. Have a look. If this interests you, would love to have you, because people who understand presence are a lot stronger at boundaries. And historically, women are not as good as men on boundaries. It's cultural. We're conditioned to just go with the flow to our health. It wrecks our parenting. It hurts relationships because nobody knows who we are. And inside we're exhausted. There is a way to do it with a lot more juice. So that's the first link. And for everybody else, if you want a free gift, that's just, it's a stress relief thing. Let me see. This one's directed mostly at women, but hey, guys, jump in as well. About 35% of my clients from around the world are men. They're in all levels of management. It's just when I put this together, I happen to write it for women, but really it's for both genders. So this topic matters. If there's anything else I can share with you at this point, let's get good at this now. It's going to pay off in better career choices. You're going to make more money. Your personal relationships will be a lot more fulfilling than just trying to make everybody else happy. Stop. Because when you are able to stay safe, other people know who you are, and then they can meet you instead of you constantly dodging. So I'll pause for a minute. I hope this was useful. And yeah, so the first link is for an event. It's this Saturday, 2 to 4. It's on Zoom. It's for women. It has to do with your natural sensuality as a woman. Very useful for boundary setting. And the second one is a series around stress relief. Get both of them. If you want to have a private conversation with me about what's going on, go to my website. I guess I should put that in there too. And just book a time for us to have a conversation. And with that, I will hand the forum back to, the links don't appear on my, I wonder why that is. Does it not work? Does anyone else have trouble with the links? Oh, okay. Okay.
So Adele, when you're sharing that information in the chat, Jessica and I, we are going to promote students from attendees to panelists so we can have the interactive session.
Okay. If you can't get it, send me an email and I'll send it to you. That's probably easier. I'll put in my email. Just write me and say, hey, I want info on the feminine presence or whatever, and I'll send it to you. But my hope is that everyone can see these links. Good stuff. Start now, people. It will pay off in your happiness, your bank account, and your health. I've been doing this for a while, and I see what happens with people later in life when no one encouraged them early on to be good with boundaries. Yeah, it was seen as a shameful, embarrassing thing, and people pleasing, and people are just miserable. I don't want that for you. So with that, I'll hand it over, and we'll just go into interactive panel.
Absolutely.
Hey, Justina.
I hope this was useful.
Oh yes, it really was. I enjoyed it.
So Adele, do you want to open for questions, or you want to
sure
in the interactive session?
Either way is fine.
So let's open for questions. Let's see, because there was lots of information, and we want to bring it to forward and make sure that if anyone has a question, we'll give them a chance.
This is my favorite part. Otherwise,
so please raise your hand if you have a question, or put a question in the QA or chat, but preferable is please raise your hand, because this way we can have this dynamic. I see Alice, you have a question, so go ahead.
Yeah. So what happens if you've already said no and you haven't provided an explanation? You just give a hard no, but then they don't accept that as an answer and they keep pushing for it.
Yeah, great thing. Well, they can keep asking. Doesn't mean you have to give an answer. And this is the no with an open heart. Mm-hmm. In a way, it's none of their business. And this is where if the relationship has been a little merged, I mean, we can't, obviously, some people are used to being in everybody's business, and this can feel a little strange to them. But my experience has been, if you stay consistent with your boundary of, I know you want that, but no, why? Sorry, it's just not going to work for me right now. Why? That there's a consistent talking point. It's only when you sometimes dance with them and sometimes not, then they're like, well, if I ask enough times, it's like playing the lottery, right? It encourages them to, they're like kids. After a certain point, they're like, oh, well, she's not gonna, I don't know why, and that's all right. So some consistency. Is this more like with a family situation, or tell me your situation?
It's like kind of a superior, I guess.
Say
Or is
more.
it like it's like we're working like in a Zoom meeting or something, and then they want us to stay on, and then we're like, no, sorry, I really have to go. And they're like, oh, we're not done with work yet, so we can't go, but it's already like 9 p.m. per se. So then would I just feel like I already said no and then just leave, or like how would I resolve that?
Yeah. So the agreement, which is boundaries are agreements, right? So the Zoom call was supposed to end at 9, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And so your boss is going on and on. It's 9:15, 9:20, right? Yeah. Okay. A lovely way, if you notice this keeps happening, to keep you safe is to say, boss, this was an awesome Zoom at 9 o'clock, or maybe 8:50 or whatever it is. This has been an awesome meeting. I have a hard stop. I can stay for until 9:05 tonight, and then I really do need to go. You know, we allotted till 9 o'clock, and that's what I did on my schedule. If we need more time, let's book another meeting.
Mm-hmm.
That's the more professional way to handle it, because you can't argue with that, right?
Yeah.
You know, we had an agreement. Boundaries are about agreements. So what happens is if you don't set a clear fence post, then your neighbors' cows just invade your space and start grazing, right? The fence is broken. So they're like, well, that's the expectation next time. So there might be a few times where you're going to have to keep a clear fence post to say, hey, I can only stay till 9:05. You know, we slated 7 to 9. Sounds like there's more to talk about. Let's set up a separate meeting so that I can be focused and give you my best attention.
Okay.
How does that feel?
Really helpful, yeah.
Yeah. And that raises their perception of you. People who have good boundaries get more respect. Ladies, if you're in tech, pay attention. This skill is going to be very useful for you, because women have a tendency to just be overly nice and accommodating. And pretty soon it's like, oh, well, you won't mind, will you, if we go over 40 minutes? I do mind. I would say if we have more, because you're never done talking, right? There's always more to discuss in business. Set another meeting. How much time do we need? Do we need 15 minutes? Or do you think we need 45? I want to be sure I budget enough time so that I can be fully present with you. Can you feel how solid that feels? That's a boundary that's not about changing your boss's behavior. It's about saying, this is how I keep myself safe, so your cows don't invade my pasture and eat up all my grass. Is that helpful?
Yeah, that's really helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, my experience with working with hundreds of people around the world is people need some guidance on how to do this. They need to hear it, because, you know, like it's like a blank menu. How do I do this? I'm supposed to work on boundaries, but I don't know how to do it. Well, of course. So people work with me to get really good at this. Your money will be better. Your relationships will be better. And you're just going to be so much happier. That's why people hire me. So yeah. So if this interests you, definitely jump in on the event on Saturday, because it's an energetic thing as much as what you say. So as you guys witnessed me, did you notice I wasn't tense? I was very grounded and open-hearted. What happens is under duress, people start going, okay, all right, I don't mind. Yeah. And it doesn't feel good, because you know you're being taken advantage of.
Thank you, Adele. We have a next question. Erna.
Yes.
Hi, thank you for speaking, Adele. I just wanted to ask, as a person that needs an explanation, how do I get over that? Or how do I, because it doesn't matter what situation I'm in, we were talking about it in the chat, whatever, like at work or at school or my friendships, I always need an explanation. I don't know why, but I just feel better if I know a person isn't giving me an excuse for something.
Yeah. Can you give me an example? it's easier if I have some idea of like an example, so I can feel it out.
Well, I guess one could be I'm the type of person, for example, if I call off last minute with a plan with my friend or something, I give them an explanation why. And if I just don't feel like going, I'll be honest with them, I felt like going 2 days ago, but I don't feel like going anymore. But sometimes they'll just like tell me an excuse and something, and I want like a real explanation, kind of that situation type deal.
Yeah. So you want to know that the reason why that they don't want to go out with you is that.
I guess I just need like more of an explanation than them just telling me no or they're not coming. Like it's weird. It's like I always need an explanation for something. I feel better when I have an explanation.
This is awesome. So this is on your side of the fence. This is your realm, right?
Yes.
In my work, I'm always curious, is this on your side of the fence or the other person's side of the fence? So what is it about not knowing why that has you feeling uncomfortable? And this would be a lot of it's a rhetorical question, but it's a good one. There's something about not knowing that makes you nervous or uncomfortable or whatever it is. Sit with that. Something about this maybe scares you. For me, because I was socially, oh my God, I was a mess. I was always afraid people found other more interesting people to be with, or they didn't want to be my friend, or what else would come up? I don't know. A fear of rejection, I guess, for me was something I had to really sit with. So what would it be for you? It's a rhetorical question, and sitting with that will be more useful than why do I need, like I need to know the answer. I need to, what's rumbling? Do you have a sense of what's rumbling under there that I need to know why? Uh-oh, did I lose her? Oh,
No, sorry.
okay.
Can you repeat that again? I'm so sorry.
Oh, do you have a sense of what makes you uncomfortable when you don't have an answer? Why you're uncomfortable?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. I feel like I just need a reason. That's the underlying thing. I need a reason to make it seem, I don't know, like if someone calls, like, well, let's say they call off like last minute, like I just want to know why. It makes me feel better to know it's not something like if they say, oh, I don't feel like it, than them just lying or coming up with something last minute. It just makes me feel better, like knowing that as a person, because I'm a very open person. People can talk to me and tell me, hey, I just don't feel like going, but I feel like it's not the same for other people.
Yeah. And so people are volatile, unpredictable. They always will be. And are you okay with the ups and downs of humanoids? We're not entitled to know why. I mean, you can ask, but if they don't want to tell you, or if they don't divulge, it's something to sit with. Is it a fear of abandonment, or I don't trust them, or whatever? And to sit with that, especially, and this is on a continuum. If it's always happening with somebody, that can inform you of something. And hey, everyone has had days where they said they were going to do something and they didn't want to. I would love to hear more about your unique situation, because I feel like there's something under there that makes you uncomfortable when you don't know why. Instead of, you can be disappointed, like, oh, I thought we were going to go out, and that's normal. It's not like you're like, woohoo, you're blowing me off. It's okay to feel disappointed. And know that fence, that boundary, in that moment, you may not be entitled to know why that person is feeling that way. There may be time later, who knows? But in the moment, it's okay to feel a little disappointment. And if you're feeling this, I want to know, that's something for you to sit with. What has you feeling maybe suspicious or whatever? There can be a number of reasons why. And you're not alone in this. This is part of engagement with humans. There's always going to be the unknown. We're not entitled to know how and why people feel the way they do. And are you okay with that? Because if you are, you'll notice a certain releasing into the mystery of things, and that person won't feel so pressured. Oh my God, I need to give her a reason and I don't want to, whatever. So I don't know if that's useful at all. It's more of a question back. What is it in you that feels uncomfortable when people are weirding out? It's not always going to be logical, is it?
Yeah, it isn't, but that was useful. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Great question. Erna, I love that question. People are weird. And the more you can be like, oh, and it doesn't mean that you like it when they cancel, but we're not entitled to bang into someone's head to demand why. That is often when the dance between people has gotten meshed. I deserve to know from you everything you are. No, you don't. But with clear boundaries, people they feel more comfortable sharing. They feel more like you accept wherever they're at. And then maybe they had a crappy day or bombed an exam. I mean, who knows? So, yeah.
Thank you. We have a next participant, Alexander.
Hi. So I have friends that are really bad about supporting their boundaries with others. What can I do to have them to encourage them to be better about setting their boundaries and making sure they're respected? You said that you like having examples. So my partner I feel like he doesn't really communicate super well about how he's feeling about things. And I can't see him every day, so I don't get that physical interaction either. So I'm just left kind of out in the water, not really knowing how he's feeling. So what can I do to sort of encourage him to be more open like that?
Love that. Well, there are two parts. Number one is get better at your boundaries, which meaning keeping you safe. Like, okay, I'm with someone who's a little bit not communicative, for example. I can say, like the example that I said, if I don't hear back from you by noon tomorrow, I'll assume XYZ. And it's not like I need you to communicate with me better. It's just, here's my boundary. And then noon comes and you didn't hear from them. So what action will you take? This is very necessary when people have poor boundaries, dealing with passive aggressiveness. Oh my gosh, do we need this? Because if you start trying to teach them how to do boundaries, it gets really weird because your boundary is sort of around them instead of a fence between two pastures. Because then they have a tendency to back off. You're coming in to tell me how to be, and you'll notice their energy just goes this way. Instead of, we want vertical. Hey, I'm right here. And, I'm assuming if I don't hear from you by 1 o'clock, or if you want to do this, I need to hear from you by that. Or when I don't hear from you, I assume you're okay. If you've got something you want me to know, let me know, or otherwise I'm going to assume you're okay with this decision, whatever. You have to do something that it's in your control when folks who have very poor boundaries are waffling, because otherwise you're going to start waffling with them, And there's a certain stability. What I want everyone to know is people love people with strong boundaries because it's very comforting. Can you feel that? That when you know where someone stands, you can relax. There's no guessing, right? Are you with me on this? And a boundary might be, I say what I mean what I say. I said I'd get back to you by 3 o'clock and I do. Like honoring, that is one of the most powerful ways for engendering trust. And it's in your control. People love to know what you stand for. There's a stability in boundary that can only increase intimacy and better connection. If everyone is waffling around trying to guess, there's a shakiness in what's going on. I hope that's useful.
It was. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Adele. There are more questions coming. Pritam?
Yes, can you hear me?
Hi, Preeta.
Hi, Adele. Thank you so much for the session. Please excuse if there are any background noise. I'm in a library. So my question is like when it comes to like the corporate world, it doesn't really matter what industry, but like in just the corporate world, what are the kind of communication like verbiages that we should be using, like especially when it comes to emails, and then we get like the pressure from our managers or anything like, hey, when is it, where is this or where is that? Um, or just in general, like what are the best ways to communicate in corporate world using like certain types of words?
Yeah. Agreements. There has to be an agreement on an expected turnaround. You know, like by when do you need this back by? And you know, because it's not fair. I need this yesterday. I mean, well, that's no fun. Um, in the tech world, I know, you know, when I was in tech for 20 years, service level agreements with clients, for example. So there is a boundary of we'll get back to you in 24 hours, and you better meet 24 hours. Not if it's is it 48, is it 24? It helps people calm down and know what expecting, because otherwise they're refreshing their email every second, hoping to hear from you. And that makes everyone unnecessarily anxious. Another one that's useful that I had to do because I had some very demanding bosses in corporate. I was in IT software development as a requirements analyst. I did some QA work, UML, all that stuff. And I did that for a while. There was always more work than that could be managed in a reasonable time frame. So I would say, okay, boss, you've given me this new thing. I'm working on these 5 other things. Which of these 5 should I bump down? If you really want this by tomorrow, you tell me. And so the boss can make a decision, and that'll help you stay safe. You know, because it's on your side of the fence to say, this, I've got 10 pounds of stuff to fit in a 5-pound bag. What do you want me to do? And that's your boundary. The boss says, let go of this one, focus on that one. These are all very useful agreements. Negotiating, because if you say yes to everything, pretty soon you're putting 20 pounds of things in a 5-pound bag, then 30 pounds of things in a 5-pound bag, and you're ready to blow up wondering why no one appreciates you. I did that. I don't want that to happen to anyone on this call. I hope that's useful. Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Great questions. Angel, next question.
Hi, Adele. Thank you so much for your time today. It's been really helpful to hear your perspective. I just wanted to add that I really agree with what you're saying about boundaries, because looking out for yourself does not make you selfish, and it allows people to show up better for you.
Absolutely. And people respect. If you want more respect, this is a great place to start. I think people pleasers think that they can nice everybody into loving them. In the direction you guys are going for a functional life and career, having people honor your space in the world in the long run will be much more productive. You're going to get what you want easier.
Yes. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you for that comment.
Any other questions in the chat on QA, Jessica?
No, I don't see any questions.
I hope this was useful. Yeah, let me know if you've got questions or want to kick this thought around some more. I do have small groups that talk about this stuff. If you want to stay connected to me or reach out, just send me a note. The event next Saturday is all around boundary setting, around helping women do this in a feminine way. It's obviously only for women, but if you're interested, click on the link in the bio, in the chat. If you can't get it, write me an email. I'll send you the link. I think it's like 2 to 4. I think it's like $47. It's minor. And because I need to be able to see your energy field. This is not the kind of thing that you turn the camera off and sit on mute and take notes. We're going to engage and practice, and you're going to notice how good it feels. So I wish someone had helped me do this earlier in my career. Oh my God, you guys are ahead of the game. And yes, so that's what I was going to share with you all today.
Wonderful. Thank you, Adele. I just want to make sure everyone has Adele email address, her links. Do we
Oh.
need to repost this?
Yeah, connect to me on Instagram and TikTok. I'm going to share with you guys something. Do we have time?
Yes, we
Okay.
do.
All right. You all, I'm just a little bit of a goof on TikTok. All right, stop share. All right, here we go. And this is one I put out a while ago. Let's see if this works.
If this is you, you aren't alone.
I'm reading all about how to be more assertive with people, how to really take a stand for what I want. You know, really setting my boundaries and not caring what people think. Gosh, I hope everyone's okay with this.
So it's just being goofy. All right, sorry. I turned it there. But I think we can all relate. Like, is it okay if I have a boundary with you? Yeah, that was me. So connect to me on
It's
Instagram.
absolutely okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to connect to a community of people that are interested in this. So I welcome you connecting to me on LinkedIn, Instagram. I put the TikTok stuff is a little bit more goofy, a little edgier. You know, my LinkedIn is a little bit more, but it's all around the same theme. These are the energetics you need to have a life that works.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. That was phenomenal.
Oh, I'm glad. I hope you guys got good value out of it. I just hope, I don't know. We'll see.
It was really good.
And as you mentioned, at this point of life, when you receive that knowledge, it's just tremendous help.
Absolutely. I wish people had showed me this earlier on. Let me see if I can find my Instagram, the social media stuff. You can just Google my name, really. But let's see what I do with that platform stuff. I'm on all the major ones. I think it's Adele, the original one, Instagram. But yeah, if anyone has any other questions, let's see. I don't want to hog up everybody's day. All right, so this is my Instagram. If you guys want to connect to me there, and TikTok and YouTube, and I have a podcast. Oh, I might as well just give you guys the link to that.
We also, when we're gonna repost that information on LinkedIn, we're gonna grab everything from the chat, Adele, and we're gonna
Okay.
repost this for everyone
Yeah.
to get in touch with you, because we want to make sure that you acknowledge and they have the way to reach out.
Yeah, okay. The podcast has stuff that's a little bit more thoughtful. There. So
thank you so much, Adele. We so appreciate you on behalf of Fulton County Center of Excellence. We are so grateful and very, very thankful again. And we will send you a little note and appreciation.
I'm honored to spend time with all of you. You guys are amazing. You've been an amazing audience, and I'm glad I wasn't boring you all, hopefully.
No, definitely not. It was
Thank you. So much.
fantastic. Thank you, Adele.
Have a good day, everybody.
You too.
Thank you.
I'm going to
Have a good
stop
day. Thank you.
recording.